Baal, is god worshipped in many ancient Middle Eastern communities, especially among the Canaanites, who apparently considered him a fertility deity and one of the most important gods in the pantheon. The Israelites were accustomed to adore God under the title of Bel or Baal, the original name for Jehovah. Thou shalt call me Ishi and shalt call me no more Baal. Hosea 2:16. With the Druids, Bel was the supreme god. The old patriarchs worshipped God under the name of Baal, sacrificed in high places, adored in groves, planted oaks, intermarried with their immediate relatives, all of which was afterwards forbidden by Moses. In other words, it was a change from the stellar and lunar into solar mythos. Bel or Baal or Set Anup or El Shaddai was the primary pole star god of the south. Until he was deposed by Horus, the god of the pole star north. The manner of the burial of the dead was the same among the Druids, Israelites and Egyptians. In fact, we find that the ancient Egyptians, Israelites and Druids all adored the same god and the rites of all were similar. The Egyptian Papiam, all that has been, is, or shall be, to whom they ascribed every attribute of nature, is the same god as the god of the Israelites and Druids, and all had the same religious ceremonies. The Syrian god Bar was identical with Sut of the Egyptians and Baal of the Hebrews. In whatever form or under whatever name we study the origin and trace back the religious beliefs, origin of words and symbolisms of the people of Asia, we can only arrive at the conclusion that they came out of Egypt. Some of the earliest, as the Ainus, have the totemic ceremonies, and others, Buddhists, Chinese, Persians of the stellar and solar mythos. Even the present writing of the Chinese and Japanese are only the old Egyptian hieroglyphics with linear signs added. It was by them that Babylonia and Asia were colonized and fertilized with Egyptian culture, and it is thus only that the correspondence between Babylonian and Asiatic knowledge and institutions became intelligible. The pictorial writings forming the basis of the cuneiform and Chinese characters is unmistakably only a species of the hieroglyphics. Their astronomy is only a copy that of Egypt. Copy of that of Egypt. The change in Israel from the worship of El Shaddai to the worship of Ibu, equals Huoyu, Egyptian, from the Elohistic to the Jehovistic god, corresponds to the change from the stellar to the solar mythos in their astronomical mythology and the eschatology of Egypt, and can be seen and proved in the volume of the Sacred Law, in the book of 1 Chronicles 12:5, in which we find that Baal Jah, as divinity, supplied a personal name. Thus, the Baal is Jah, who is one of the Baalim. The earliest Baalam were the 7 elementary powers in the astronomical mythology. The one God in Israel was made known to Moses by the 2 names of Ewaniah. In the Egyptian, the one God, Papa or Atum Ra, was Hu the Eternal, in the character of God the Father, and Yu in the character of God the Son, which two were one. Bel or Baali was El Shaddai, or was another name for him, and when they changed from stellar into solar mythos and the eschatology, he was no longer to be considered the one God. See Exodus 34:13. Thou shalt call me Ishi and shalt call me no more Baali. Hosea 2:16, and therefore to have the Hebrew El Shaddai as the Father and who equals you, Yao, Ishi, Iu, etc., as his son, is quite wrong and has no meaning, and no explanation could be given that would be correct with the Hebrew characters on the symbol as it is now, but the Egyptian is correct. The pillar set up by Jacob is called the Mezibah. The word is also rendered images, standing images, a statue or pillar of Baal. He put away the Mezibah of Baal. 5. They broke down the Mezibah of Baal. The word is also written with the Egyptian terminal Mezibat. This is the Masteba or Mastibat. The same variation is found in Mitzrayim and Mesraim. Berith, which, more literally, signifies a covenant, that is, a group or constellation, and, in its full utterance, as Baal Berith, the Lord of the Covenant, was the name of the sun, as considered respectively those covenants or constellations, September, October, November, and December, that is, the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th god Berith, or God in his 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th celestial mansions, of which January being the 11th, and February the 12th, March, in which the sun enters the constellation of the Lamb, becomes the first. And as time was reckoned from this constellation, the stars, of which it is composed, were called the temple of the Lord. Baal represents the sun that falls in the months that end in Ber, and there is death, and no vegetation which grows on this earth. Rulbul Bol. Disguise it as you will, utter it in any tongue of all the peopled earth, its essence and significancy is none other than Baal, the name of the Supreme God, when the covenant, that is, the vernal equinox, was in the bull of the zodiac, from whence the name of that sacred animal, in our own language, to this day, and on, the never varied Egyptian name of the sun, thus proving the sun to be, as indeed it has been, the great and only object of all religious worship, and the science of the sun, or of astronomy, the interior and esoteric secret of Freemasonry. The science of the sun being the secret sense of all mysterious allegories, and the sun itself, the ultimate object of all religions.